Hi everybody, Jim Crawford here with Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate, and I'm with Cliff of Kyle's Wish Foundation. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good, Jim.
Thanks for having me, appreciate it.
Yep.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about the organization, how it got started, and sort of what you do?
Sure. So, Kyle's Wish Foundation, we are a service that provides transportation, air transportation to people that need to get into treatment for mental health or for addiction and alcoholism. We are kind of like the medical flight services out there, that help those, get into, a hospital or, if somebody needs transplant, but we're for those that are seeking mental health treatment.
Sure, absolutely. So how did the organization get started?
Yeah, so my son, Kyle, who was 26, passed away last year of a drug overdose. I've been a pilot for a really long time. I had flown for Angel Flight for a while, and my wife and I said, we want to do something to be able to help, and it's part of our grieving process.
Sure.
One of the ways of us, kind of getting through this is to be of service to others. One of the things that my son Kyle cherished was his time with his friends and family.
Sure.
When he was in recovery, he used to spend a lot of time literally driving guys in and out of the hospital to get them into recovery. Like, he spent a lot of time doing that. So we wanted to carry that on, but in a little bit more of a unique way by combining some of my aviation skills with this mission of helping keep people together.
That's a great mission, and certainly super helpful for those families. Yeah, absolutely. So give us an idea of, I know geography-wise, there's sort of a range that makes sense. What kind of area do you serve?
So we're based out of Pottstown, I keep the plane. We're on the field here at Heritage Field.
Yes.
KPTW is the call sign. And here in Limerick, and so our range with our plane is about 5 hours, but we try to keep it between anywhere between an hour and 3 hours is pretty comfortable for people. To give you an idea, a 1 hour flight is about a 5 to 6 hour drive.
Wow.
So if your loved one is in our flight radius, so down to say Georgia, up through Maine, out towards Ohio, even Illinois. That's kind of our flight area.
It's amazing, even with these smaller planes, the range that they can get. That's fantastic.
Yeah, it makes it really, really easy to get people in and out, because there are 4,000 small airports like this in this country.
Wow.
People don't know that.
No.
So we can get you almost door to door. We'll even pay for, besides the flight, we'll pay for an Uber from the airport to your loved one's facility and back. So it doesn't cost these families anything. It won't cost the patients, if they need to get into treatment, it won't cost them anything door to door.
That's fantastic. It really is. Can you tell us a little bit, maybe a memorable experience that you can think of?
Sure. Our first flight this year, we just kicked off the service unofficially. We had a sort of a soft run in March when we brought the plane up. Bought the plane in December, brought it up here in January. Had some work done to the plane to modernize it, which was it's very, very modern now. Our first flight was a family here in Pottstown, and their son was in treatment in Virginia, and they needed to get down. Mother and father out of work, didn't have the means to fly commercial. They don't own a car. They're they live in Pottstown. We wanted to do something special for them, so they were our first family. So we took the mother and father down to Virginia. They had not seen their son for a year because of COVID.
Yeah.
He's in a facility in Virginia, outside of Richmond, and just connecting them. The most memorable thing for me is the body language and what people talk about and their facial expressions on the way down.
Sure.
It's 180 degrees on the way back.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Just that's what makes it satisfying for me and my wife, because in the last days of when my son was with us, In the last 24 hours, we weren't there with him. He felt isolated. A lot of it was due because of the circumstances of the pandemic and other things, other
Sure.
factors, were out of everyone's control.
Yeah.
But isolation is the very worst thing. So the best thing that we can do is to get people together. And that first one that we did, they hadn't seen their son for a year. So it was just amazing. And they're coming back.
Really
and,
is.
A couple months later, he's back in Pottstown. He's living with the family. He's working. I check in on them. They're doing really, really well.
That's fantastic.
And that's what this is all about. Recovery, there's no guarantees in recovery.
Sure.
And the most that we can do, this is sort of a saying that we live by, is presence is a present. So just being there actually makes all the difference.
Sure.
It really does.
Yeah.
When you isolate from your family and your friends, when you're in recovery, and I have personal experience with this, it is very challenging, your mind starts to wander,
I'll bet.
and it becomes why bother?
Yeah.
But if you can get them in front of their family, that why bother turns in, I have something to live for.
Sure. It's an amazing story. It really is, and I can understand why you keep doing what you're doing, and that's it's really great. I know that also you've got some other pilots that work with you, right? It's not just yourself.
Yep.
You've got kind of a network, so the resources are tremendous, really, when it comes down.
They
to
are. The pilot community, and it is the same everywhere, but my experience is here in the Pottstown area, where I got my license 15 years ago, and my instrument rating here as well. It's a very small community. Everybody knows everyone. We're standing in my mechanic's hangar,
Sure.
with one of the planes that he's working on right now. My plane is sort of in line to be worked on, and everyone helps everyone. And so pilots always look for a mission. We really do, because I fly 3 or 4 times a week. Sometimes it's just me in the plane, just working on my skills, because we have things that we've got to do to keep up our skills. But having that mission to be able to use your piloting skills for something, for the greater good. And every single pilot that does this does it at their own cost. So every flight hour is about $100 per flight hour average. Some of them are more expensive, some of them are slightly cheaper, but not much. And we pay for this ourselves.
Hence why we will have your links posted so that folks can make those donations for sure. On that note, how about any upcoming events or just things you want folks to know?
Sure. So a couple things. So the website, kyleswish.com, very easy to remember. So go to kyleswish.com. There's lots of info up there. We even do a video tour of the plane. I just put it up yesterday.
Fantastic.
I put a video tour of the plane, my plane that we use, and a little bit about flying. With some flight footage, so if you haven't seen that, go look at it. It's actually kind of cool.
Will do.
And some of that footage is from when I took you up.
Fantastic.
Right?
All right.
So some really cool things there, and info about how to donate, also how to volunteer. We're always looking for volunteers. Volunteers, not just piloting, we're always looking for marketing, how to get the word out. Events, we are planning a fall golf outing to do some fundraising and some other things. As COVID, I wouldn't say get back to normal, but as we kind of regain some of our freedoms,
Sure.
We're going to be planning more things. So just keep an eye at kyleswish.com for more events.
Absolutely, and we will make sure that we'll get all those links out there for the folks and keep posting whatever it is that you need to help the cause. Really appreciate it. Amazing organization, and I'm glad to have met you, truly.
Thank you, Jim.
So I'm Jim Crawford with Better Homes and Gardens with Cliff of Kyle's Wish Foundation. Please visit the site, make a donation. If you have the ability to volunteer on some things that he can help, please do so. Thanks so much.